I think I can see the comments. I don't know if anybody's typing in there or not, but we're going to talk about the we've got that purple deck of permaculture playing cards or the gardening playing cards on Kickstarter right now. And now I know that when we've done this kind of a live thing in the past, we kind of did a thing where it's like, oh, if we get this much money, we'll keep going. And for the last Kickstarter, we did that, and somebody got really angry with us because not many people put money in during the thing, and then we ended, and they're like, that was too short. Which in a way, I think it's fun to hear that. That was too short. I wanted to hear more. And it's like, so this time we don't have any kind of time constraint like that. We're just gonna so Andreas has picked out 12 cards, and they were voted on by the people that have supported past Kickstarters. And so we're going to see 12 cards, and we'll just look at them and talk about them, and that's about it. And people can type in the chatty chat to ask questions about whatever card we're looking at or whatever's. So, Andreas, what is our first card?
Our first card and the most voted was the Rocket Cooktop.
Okay.
Ooh.
Do we get to get a closer view of the Rocket Cooktop card?
Yes, give me a second.
All right. This is a good time to point out that our Kickstarter is suffering because normally when we do a Kickstarter, probably about 90% or more of all of the income that comes to our Kickstarter comes from our mailing lists. But bad guys and their bots have pooped on our mailing list. And so we get the impression that about 85% of our regular people cannot see our emails right now, and we're working on fixing that. We've been working on it for about 4 months, and but my guess is by the time this Kickstarter is done, we'll still have broken emails. So there's going to be a lower activity, lower turnout. Oh well, damn. It is what it is. We'll make the best of it. But, all right. So, Andreas, can we look at the Rocket Cooktop card a little closer, please?
Yes, just a second.
Okay. All right.
1 minute.
All right. The old deck, I still have like 2 boxes of the old cards. I think it's gardener-gift.com. And this, of course, is the time of year where we sell 90% of the cards or more, but we're not going to get it reprinted. So this is the last of these cards, and when they're gone, they're gone. And then we'll have the new cards, and we'll push those around, I suppose. It's been a popular holiday thing. I'm guessing stocking stuffer size or something might be part of it. But
yeah, I bought a big pile for presents a few years ago. You had a good deal going, so I got a dozen of them. Yeah, they're beautiful cards.
I think they're terrific. I'm of course sad that they're not selling 1,000 times better, but it'll be nice to get to have my house not be full of all these cardboard boxes of stuff waiting to be sold. That'll be handy.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's that whole thing of how bad guys pirated the cards, the old deck, and I'm kind of tired of that happening. So if you ever bought a deck of cards and there's a card in there advertising a printer, you got a pirated deck of cards. So basically, the printer that we hired for the first edition decided to just sell the cards on their own with advertisements in the card. So there's a card inside that advertises their printing services, and they just printed up a bunch more, and they just kept printing and printing, and basically competing with us. And it's like kind of ready to be all done with that. There we go. So I think if you go to permies.com/KS, it'll take you to the Kickstarter. Ooh, you know what'd be fun is to look at how we're doing. So right now we're at 28,104. So I'm going to type that in, 28,104. I guess we'll see if we do this, if we gain $1 or something to our Kickstarter by doing this. But I'm glad to talk about all of the content of each of these cards, and I don't know, we'll show them off along the way. Okay, rocket cooktop. We have 2 rocket cooktops at my place, but the big thing is that with a rocket cooktop as opposed to a rocket mass heater, you want to cook your food and then have any extra heat go outside, so that way you're not heating up the building while cooking. And so I think the image that you see here kind of shows the one that we've got at Allerton Abbey. And when you do a rocket cooktop, there's an important thing, and that is that rather than having like a knob that you turn for high, medium, low, instead what happens is that there's different spots while the fire is burning that'll be hotter or less hot. And so if you want to boil water, you'll put it on the hottest spot, and it'll boil the water very fast. But if you're going to fry eggs or something like that, or for most of the things you're going to cook, you want something that's more of a medium. So you'll go to a spot that's a little further away from the fire, and then if the fire is burning really hot or burning down, you might move your pan around a little bit to get the temperature to be just right. So the thing you want to do is to put as much heat as possible onto the cooking surface, and then to have just a little bit of heat going out your vertical exhaust just to keep the exhaust moving in the correct direction. So I do get the impression, and then along the way, try to get your fire to burn in such a way that it burns all of the creosote and all of the smoke. So that way you have a very clear burn. All right, let's see. The little bits of poetry for this card. A tiny bit of fuel will quickly cook your food. I got to say that we've got the 2 rocket cooktops. The one at Allerton Abbey is the one that everybody really loves because you get a fire going and you can get your water boiling faster than if you're trying to use an electric kettle down at the Fisher Price house. It is very fast.
And the surface. The surface on it's like an electric range top, right? One of those smooth top glass things.
Yes.
That's cool. You can see the fire come up and hit it and go around sometimes.
Yeah, it is really nice. And it's like it's apparently a very conductive kind of a thing because it heats things so fast. It's especially compared to the one in Cooper Cabin. And we also have the one that's the Lorena, but still the one in Allerton Abbey is the favorite. But the one in Cooper Cabin has, I think it's a steel top or a cast iron top or something like that. And it just takes a long time to heat up. And so it's because of that, people don't like it very much. Whereas this one, which is just got that, it's a glass. So you know how there are some electric stoves that are like an electric coil. That's the old school kind. And then there's the newer ones where it's got something under the glass. And there's different somethings under the glass. So this is just that glass. We just took it off of, like you say, off of an electric stove that had died and was being recycled. And we just grabbed the glass cooktop. So let's see. Clear exhaust for most of the burn. Off-grid cooking with no propane, just sticks found lying on the ground. And it's kind of a funny thing. There's a bunch of people that are like, we live off-grid, and then they cook with propane. And it's kind of like, first of all, I don't think that's exactly off-grid. Once you've got propane, I think propane is the grid. So, yeah, no, you're no longer off-grid, I think.
You've brought the grid to your place in a truck.
Yes.
Periodic grid visits.
And the beautiful thing about the wood cooking is that, yeah, you just use sticks you find lying around on the ground. I mean, you're not going to find propane lying around on the ground, nor are you going to find electricity lying around on the ground. So it just seems more low tech, it's
more resilient.
aligned. Yeah, more resilient as well. Like, which is another thing too, is like there's a huge prepper community, right? There's like all these people who are so keen on prepping, and it kind of seems like, yeah, but you're running on propane. So, I mean, I suppose that you can go ahead and get like 40 bottles, and put those up, but those are going to eventually run out.
Right.
Aren't they? If something goes, because the preppers are worried about zombie apocalypse kinds of things, right?
Yes.
And so, all right, you got your zombie apocalypse, and and they've done so many things to prepare for, I don't know, 20 years. But is having propane? Do they have enough propane for 20 years? I'm not sure. The other thing is I kind of want to. Some of them is like they've got electric cooktops, and then they've got like these, like massive solar panels, and they've got a massive battery system, and it's kind of like I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like everything that we've done with solar and batteries requires a substantial amount of maintenance. A lot of times it goes maintenance free, but there's always something
right up until it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, they're like, okay, we've prepared for 20 years of zombie apocalypse. And it's kind of like, all right, cool. And so how long is your solar going to last? And it's like, oh, it's going to easily last 20 years. But I mean, like, do you have spare parts? Because some of those spare parts, it's not exactly repairable. Anyway, I kind of feel like the rocket cooktop.
Uh-oh. I heard rocket cooktop, and then it stopped.
I think Paul's frozen.
Yeah, I think we lost Paul for a second.
Paul.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, that was on me. I fizzed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you said the last word was rocket cooktop.
But that's okay.
I think that the one at Allerton Abbey is gonna probably last 100 years, but I'm not sure how old it is so far. I know we just recently opened up our rocket mass heater at the Fisher Price House, and this is its 13th winter. It still looks brand new on the inside. I think it's going to last 100 years or longer. But okay, rocket cooking, off-grid cooking with no propane.
I have one bit to add there, Paul. and I think it's something very practical right now here in Colombia. There's a lot of people who cook with wood, and for example, there's these old ladies who get lung cancer from cooking with
Mm,
that. And
wow.
in most of Latin America, it's a thing. In rural places, they cook with wood, and it's just a massive amount of smoke in their faces. So I think this technology is something that can be used here in a very
Okay.
positive way, and also allows for the rocket stuff to have an application here that I'm not like burning right now, which is great.
Right.
Okay.
Like this is a good application for a warm environment, for a warm ecosystem.
Oh, okay. But I want you to, Andreas, I need you to differentiate a little bit because we're talking about cooking with wood versus cooking with wood. And so, with the first style, can you describe how that's different than the rocket cooktop we're looking at right now?
The style that people use right now.
The style where people are getting lung trouble.
Okay, so basically they set up a campfire over a little setup, and they put wood, and there's a hole where the fire comes out and fire with smoke, and then they usually do this in a kind of open area, but the women usually are cooking right in front of the smoke, so they just eat it and breathe it all day long. And it's very sad because there's these very healthy people who don't smoke, who eat very well, are very active, but then this little aspect and lack of technology is killing them and making their lives really, really bad. There's been some improvements in how these stoves are being used right now, and redirecting the smoke outside and things like that, but still nothing as close as efficient as this setup of the rocket cooktop.
So yeah,
And sorry, and also they use massive amounts of wood. Like that's a daily chore that they they wake up, and one of the first things they do is go to the forest and chop, 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 chop a bunch of wood to feed the fire all day.
I mean, all this rockety stuff started with the rocket stove. Um, and there's the story of Yanto Evans doing making the rocket stove and how and why and all that. And it's like and it made it so that they could do their cooking with 1/10 of the wood and like 1/100th of the smoke and stuff like that. But I think that the rocket cooktop goes a little beyond that. Even less wood, even less smoke,
Yep.
and especially less smoke inside of a building, because it is it's exhausted to the outside, and so and I'm kind of curious about. I love the idea of hearing from people that have a wood cook stove, like an old school wood cook stove, and then they switch to a rocket cooktop. I'd like to hear a comparison in that space. I mean, I've never used one before. One of the old school cooktops, one of the old school uh, wood cooktops
Right.
uh, that are so popular in some places, and those are very off grid. However, I think that the rocket cooktop is probably going to be better, but maybe not. Maybe I mean, those old those wood stoves don't use a lot of wood for cooking, so maybe it's comparable. And the only advantage is because I also know those wood cook stoves I think they're like $4,000, and the rocket cooktop, I mean, I don't know, probably I'm going to guess under $200. So, all right, let's see. Designed to heat food without heating the house. Okay, I think we've talked about everything in the rocket cooktop. If nobody has any questions in the chatty chat, which I don't see any,
I've
maybe.
got a question.
Oh yes, Mike.
I've seen, I think I've used the Allerton Abbey rocket cooktop, and it looks just like that beautiful picture on the card. Underneath the cob, is it basically just bricks and a fire brick burn chamber and some kind of fancy riser or a simpler riser inside. And Paul looks very stationary right now.
Yeah, I guess my internet must be getting dodgy. But
so what's it like on the inside of that, Paul?
Bricks. It's like bricks. I think we have lots of pictures of it under construction. It is a creation of Peter Vandenberg. He calls it the double shoebox style. I think it's been one of the best things that we have here. Peter has built some fascinating stuff here. Some stuff better than others, but that's kind of what we do the innovators event, and he comes out and he innovates and tries some stuff out. So I believe for the double shoebox style, I believe this was his first attempt at double shoebox. And we have a batch box rocket mass heater that was Peter's first attempt at an 8-inch batch box.
Whew.
Yeah, and now look how famous it has become. So, anything else about the rocket cooktop? All right, let's
go. Our next card is connected because the second most voted card was the Lorena. This one is still in a little production phase, but here it is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is one of the cards that we haven't finished yet. Is that true, Andreas?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there still needs some tweaks to the illustrations, but almost there.
All right. So can we zoom in a little bit so I can read the text? Zooms.
Yeah, just squint more.
Let me
activate
read it.
Squinting powers.
I'm going to try to read it with my accent. The Lorena has no cooktop between the heat source and the pot. More heat transfer. Plus, flames and exhaust are able to add additional heat to the sides of the pot.
Yeah. So when I first heard of the Lorena, I thought it was one of the most brilliant things I'd ever heard of. So rather than heating the glass surface and then the heat goes through the glass surface to the pot, instead, the flames hit the pot directly, but they also go up around the sides of the pot and they heat the sides of the pot. So I kind of think that maybe you're going to get a lot more heat on the bottom because you don't have that layer of glass in between. But you're also going to be heating the sides a lot. So it's really good for a boiling water bath or a soup or anything that's liquid.
Right.
Yeah. I think that if you tried to do anything using this, that's you want to do medium heat, I think this is going to be awful because you don't even get high. You only get super crazy high, psycho high. So I think when it comes to a boiling water bath, like if you try to get a pot boiling on an electric stovetop, it'll take about an hour to get it to the point that it's boiling. But we'll fill that same pot all the way to the top, and we'll get it boiling in the Lorena in 15 minutes. So we're doing more. I mean, I think it would be better to try to do a fair comparison between the two. We should really measure between the two. But the Lorena has been dreamy. And the only question left is, how dreamy is it? And but one of the trade-offs is that the Lorena is not for an indoor kitchen. It's an outdoor kitchen only. And the reason is that there will be some gases that escape around the sides of the pot. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good seal, but there's going to be enough leaky leak that I think I wouldn't want it in an enclosed space.
Yeah, And one comment with that heat on the sides of the pan and touching it, that's exactly the case for maple syrup. You want the flames touching the pan, not hitting a surface in between. So that rings very true. One problem I have with my pans for syrup is that as the heat comes up around the pan, everywhere there's liquid inside, the liquid keeps the pan cool at a balmy 212 degrees. Above the water line in the pan, where the flames are hitting the side of the pan and there's no liquid to keep it cool, that part of the pot gets hotter than a pistol. So as the syrup bubbles up and hits that hot ring around the edge of the pan, it's like burning on and scorching and doing all kinds of magic. So with a bunch of tomato soup in there that's only half as deep as the flames come up around the sides, one thing to watch for would be like burning as it blurps up onto that hot rim. So the waterier your stuff, probably the better.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Or Lorena, where the pot can adjust up and down based on how deep the liquid is in it.
I think what I just heard is that when you design your maple syrup, your sugar shack, and you're cooking the maple syrup stuff, is you want to try to keep your pans full and also try to keep the heat below maybe the top inch and a half of the sides or something, because your pan's got to sit inside of something.
Yeah, like my pans are those hotel steam pans, those rectangular ones at buffet lines.
Yeah,
their rim just sits on a perimeter. So mine are 6 inches deep into the fire, but I only want the syrup to be maybe 3/4 of an inch deep in there. If I fill the pan up, it takes forever to boil, and it's not evaporating as much. But that's a syrup nuance as opposed to a Lorena thing. But you can learn more about it in a video on maple syrup that I posted to Hermes.
That you can get as a stretch goal in our Kickstarter if you.
Yes. Learn all about maple syrup by backing the Kickstarter at the $100 level.
Yes, exactly.
Link
Thanks, Mike.
below.
Should I read the next one?
Well, in a moment, I'm noticing that our Kickstarter has not moved forward even $1. So I feel like it's probably a good time to say, yeah. So there we've got Permies.com/KS, and we kind of set this all up with the hopes that that people would help our Kickstarter out a little bit as we do this, and expectations are low, but it'd still be nice. Oh, and earlier I talked about how bad guys have pooped all over our mailing list, and we're trying to repair that. Bad guys have also pooped all over our YouTube channel, and I don't know of a way to repair that. And so I guess my YouTube channel will be forever pooped upon. And I don't know if I've ever talked about it before, but basically what the bad guys do is they have bots come whenever I have a new video. They have bots come and they watch my new video. They'll have 1,000 bots watch my new video for 1 second, and then that makes YouTube think, boy, this must be a really terrible video. People keep stopping watching it at 1 second in. It's terrible. It's the worst. And so now, so then YouTube's like, well, I'm not going to show it to his 400,000 subscribers because it's so bad. Anyway, so yeah, our YouTube channel we found out. It was just about a few months ago. We found out somebody was saying, like, if you think someone's pooped on your YouTube channel, here's how you find out. And so we went and we looked, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is. And we know when it happened too. And so it's like we know that the people that are, I'm going to say, big energy, it's most likely they don't like us talking about rocket mass heaters, which would include, I suppose, the Lorena, and so they want to poop on all of our stuff to make sure people don't find out about it. So, oh well, damn. All right. Yes, Andreas, read the next thing.
Just a little comment before that. I think it's a good thing that we are unstoppable and we will keep sharing good permaculture content
We're just
regardless.
kind of stupid that way.
Yeah. Well, maybe in the future we'll prove otherwise. Not stupid, but very, very smart. Okay, next one. After heating the pot, hot gases travel under the cooktop to warm the rest of the surface.
Yes, and while we have fried eggs there, it's like whatever's left over from the pot, because the pot's got water in it, which kind of cools those exhaust gases a lot, very fast. We are able to fry eggs, but it's not like super high heat that makes it so like what the heat that's left over isn't your hottest heats like what you get in Allerton Abbey, but it is enough to fry eggs. What's next?
Next one. Perfect for stews, soups, or heating big pots quickly without wasting heat.
Yes, yeah, I think it's very efficient at not only heating quickly but also uh, thoroughly. Like it's amazing how well it does at that. And so basically I'm kind of hoping that we will evolve this where we've built the Lorena that we have here now. I'm hoping that space will evolve to become a canning kitchen, because canning with the Lorena goes so much faster than with an electric cooktop.
Yeah, I was thinking water bath canning would be a good thing to have on that blurb right there. Assuming you could build onto the water bath canning sized pot right there, and yeah, do your canning in that. So that might be good to highlight on the card.
I need a quick bio break. You guys cover for me, okay?
I was going to say that while editing the last two low-tech laboratory movies, I saw a lot of people using the Lorena for canning, and I remember the instructor, which maybe Mike remembers his name, fermentation guy.
Austin?
Yes, Austin. Austin being quite impressed with the Lorena capabilities, and everyone was looking around the boiling water like it was magic, which is fun and funny.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think the one, I haven't looked at it too closely, but I think it's got a canning pot, a kettle the size of a canning pot in it. I wonder if you could, and if somebody wanted to get professional, they could take a pot and weld a lip around it, like maybe 2 inches down from the top, and then that could seal really well, and then maybe you wouldn't have to worry about smoke getting out.
I remember when looking at the footage of how they made it, they used the size of the pot as the to size the construction. So I think that's really neat because then you can do that, and depending on what you have when you build your own.
Yep. As long as you don't lose your pot.
Yeah. And so it's the sort of pot that has a rack that you can pull the jars up and out of it. Would guess.
Yeah, usually the rack is loose in there, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They also used some insulation, the white kind. I don't remember the name. Paul is much better than that.
Super wool, maybe.
Yeah, super wool to kind of seal a little bit the lip at the end. So I think that helps a lot with gases and also to improve heating. So if you leave extra space, I guess that there are solutions to seal it a little bit more. Yeah.
I can't remember. I know there's some high temperature insulation that you don't want to breathe the dust from, but hopefully that is not that kind. So when you take the pot in and out, it's not doing bad things.
All right.
Hey,
Where are we
Paul,
at?
We covered
just-
3 more cards. We're on.
Still talking about right at the beginning.
I will read the next one.
Okay.
You get 2 cooking zones: direct flame for boiling and residual heat for simmering.
Yeah, I think we talked about that one already. Next.
This design needs good ventilation and works best in outdoor or semi-outdoor kitchens.
Covered that.
It uses the same efficient J-tube rocket core, but modifies the heat path for cooking needs.
And that's that drawing with the red lines. Yeah.
One of the chat. Did you guys read the chatty chat thing?
Ooh.
Ah, you don't necessarily want things too hot for frying anyway.
Right. True.
True. That's so true.
There you go. See, it's a feature.
The feature, not a bug. Yeah.
And you
Are
can
you ready
plan
for
your
the next
meals
card?
accordingly.
Yes.
Ooh,
Oh.
this is the one I want. I want.
Yeah. I think that's supposed to be the likeness of Lisa there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I tried my best.
Okay. Good job, Andreas. All right. High fire kilns cost about $100 for one fire. So when we say high fire, I believe it's 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. And so what happens is that whether it's natural gas or electricity, I think they have to like run it for 2 days so it can get at the appropriate temperature. A rocket kiln uses one large armload of wood to do the same thing. And I believe the whole process is done in 2 or 3 hours, as opposed to needing to take 2 days. A conventional wood-fired kiln will use 20 cords of wood.
Yeah.
Now, I know Mike thoroughly understands what 20 cords would look like. I think for a lot of people, we say 20 cords and they're like, they don't know what that means. So, Mike, how would you describe to somebody who doesn't know what 20 cords of wood looks like, what it would look like? How do you describe it?
A stack of wood that's 8 feet wide, 8 feet high, and 80 feet long.
Wow. 80. 80.
80. Yeah.
So there used to be a size of pickup truck that was just
8 by 4 by 80.
So there used to be a size of pickup truck that was a pretty like a standard pickup truck. And you could put full sheets of plywood in the back of that truck.
Mm-hmm.
And so it had a big bed in the back of the truck. It did not have a cab, a super cab. It was just regular cab with a bench seat. But that was the size of it. So if you can imagine these substantially sized pickup trucks with a big bed, if you were to stack the firewood in the back of that in such a way that it's higher than the cab, because anyway, you stack the firewood in the back of a pickup truck higher than the cab. So it's a pretty high stack of firewood in the back of the pickup truck. That is generally one cord.
Oh, wow.
So you would need 20 of those.
Yep.
And now
there's 4 by 4 by 8.
Yeah. And so basically we're talking about a large armload. We were kind of talking about it as being a banana box. So like there's a certain size of box. I don't know, I'm trying to gesture. There's a certain size of box. It's a cardboard box, thick cardboard, and it's for holding a bunch of bananas. But there's other fruit boxes that are about that size. It's a fruit box, big. Like if you were going to go to the grocery store and get a case of fruit, it would be about the size of that box. That's about the amount of wood that we would run through the rocket kiln in order to do a firing. But the thing is that the conventional wood-fired stuff, not only would they burn 20 cords of wood, just this crazy, enormous amount of wood, but it would be so smoky that, and Lisa would tell these stories about how so many of the potters were kicked out of town because they were just too smoky to be in town.
Yeah, no, you can't do this in town.
And it would take 2 days of burning to complete a burn for a wood-fired burn.
At the University of Illinois, they kicked the ceramics down onto the South Farms. And when we did, and I took ceramics classes, and when we did a wood burn, it ran for 2 or 3 days. There was so much smoke and stuff in the air that it glazed the pots. Like the pots became covered in an ash glaze. And at the heat of the firing, you were just throwing wood in as fast as you could. And what really annoyed me is the instructor didn't care if the wood had nails in it. And the nails would become airborne blobs of molten metal, and they would land on your pot. And it looked like a bird had pooped on your pot, but it was a melted nail.
Oh boy. I think that a big thing is too, you've got to keep that fire going 24 hours a day. So you got to have people.
You have to have people there. Yeah.
Yeah, like in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., and they're still loading it.
Yeah,
They're
you're just
still
tossing wood in.
And to just physically move 20 cords of wood is a big job.
Yeah.
And so it just sounded like such a, so the big thing is we built a rocket kiln here a few years ago, and Lisa shared it with ceramicists all over the world. And ever since then, the concept of the rocket kiln has taken the ceramics world by storm, is my understanding.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a big, big deal. So, all right. I think we're ready to go on to the next card, Andreas. What do we got?
Yes, it connects with the kiln because it can also be part of the rocket engine, which is the rocket water heater.
Oh, nice. I know we just finished this card recently. So we were working on this card, 2 or 3 days ago, getting it done. So, but I think when we started the Kickstarter, we had quite a few of the cards started, so we could at least kind of get an idea of like what the Kickstarter would be like, what the deck of cards would look like. By the way, I think it's a good time to mention, I don't think we've gained $1 in our Kickstarter yet. In fact, oh no, 2 minutes ago, we got a new backer. They increased their backer level from $85 to $105. It's
Yay!
working. It's
Yay!
working.
So happy.
They must have wanted the maple syrup movie.
Yes, that's what they're after. Actually, yeah, they're now at a high enough dollar level to be able to get the maple syrup stuff, I think. It doesn't say if they've got that. Yeah. Well, anyway, basically it's just $100 and up, and they're at higher than $100. Okay. Rocket water heater. What we're doing is we're showing the unpressurized system, which I think is like one of these days we will take our pressurized rocket water heater out and replace it with an unpressurized system. I just kind of feel like this is the way. This is the smart way to do it. And so for those of you that have been here before, this is the one that sits next to the dishwashing station. I don't know. I'm gonna Mike, have you ever fired that thing up?
Yeah, I did one time for a BB.
Okay.
To show I could boil water with a rocket water heater several years ago.
Okay. My impression is that we put very cold water in, and in about 10 minutes, we have very hot water, like it's scalding hot. And so it is very efficient. Just a few sticks. I don't know if that was your experience.
I I believe so. It was 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, I want to, and I've seen plenty of the boots using it for events.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. And sometimes, like they'll fire it up for washing the dishes at breakfast, and then they won't fire it up at lunchtime. It's like it's still crazy hot. So good enough. But it's an unpressurized system. Any water that gets high enough into the tank just pours out the outlet. And so if you want there to be, if you want water to come out the outlet, all you got to do is push water into the inlet. And so there's that valve right there. And once you just turn that, a bunch of water goes in, then water starts to come out the outlet. It just displaces it. The exhaust is low, so it comes out of the space low, so that way it does a stratification chamber thing. The hottest gases are trapped near the top, and there's going to be a lot of heat transfer up there. And then the coolest gases go to the exhaust. And much like the Lorena, you're going to have the flames are hitting the tank directly. And so we're getting a lot of heat in there. Oh, look at all the comments pouring in. Let's see.
Thank you, TJ.
Oh, that was me. So TJ is the one that put the money into the Kickstarter. Yes, thank you. I want to show my appreciation for all the work you're putting into this project. Oh, thank you. So if I recall, this is the High Commander's favorite rockety thing at Wheaton Labs. Ooh, I'd have to ask him. I didn't know that. I know that he usually does it. And it is quick and easy. So that might be it. Let's see. Is there EV charging there? So Julia, did you've charged your EVs here, didn't you?
Yeah. There's EV charging nearby, definitely.
Right. There's the giant mega charge stuff nearby.
Yeah.
But then, like here on site, I remember Elliot once like slipped me $5. Like, yeah, this is for whatever electricity I just pulled off to charge my car, and it's like, okay. Something like that.
Yeah, I could see that. Because you can charge a car. I mean, there are fast chargers nearby, and you can slow charge your car. Yeah, there's definitely plenty of electricity.
Yeah, I would say you could bring your own level 1 cord and charge just fine, but yeah, there's no level 2 chargers on site. But I just bought one for my house, and as long as you have an outlet, you can make them portable. So for a couple $100 or less, you could get set up for level 2 charging.
Oh yeah, we have a level 2 charger that uses a what is that called? A 240, like a dryer plug.
Yeah,
like for your clothes dryer or your electric stove.
So Mike, did you get an EV?
I did.
Which one did you get?
I got a little Chevy Bolt.
Okay.
His name is Meep.
Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. What is on the card that we haven't talked about? Well, first of all, let me take a step back and say, I think that this batch of cards is better than the first batch of cards.
Oh, really?
Why think do you say so.
That? Okay.
Well, I feel like I'm grooving on the art more,
Okay, cool.
I think that the art is 40% better.
All right.
I am feeling like when we did the whole thing about the Suicide King and the One-Eyed Jacks, I think that was more fun.
Okay.
Um,
Fun is
I
fun.
I think Andreas did a cool thing. I didn't even ask him to do this, and he did this where, well, in this case, the woman is buck naked, but in all the other cards, the people, all the clothes that they wear, everybody's barefoot wearing overalls, which I think is just so fun. And I didn't ask him to do that. He just did that. And I'm sorry, I like that a lot.
She might be wearing overalls. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, we can't really tell in this picture. Her hair could be covering the overall straps. She could be showering and doing her laundry at the same time.
And I'm definitely barefoot.
I kind of feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like the words are moving forward much better. Like I feel like this is more of a group effort, and so for the poetry, and so there's getting to be a lot of like feedback, double checking, triple checking, things like that. And so I feel better about the words this time. I feel better about the art because about one card in 3, it's like Andreas nailed it the first time. So Andreas and I have been working together so long that I don't know. I feel like he nails it the first time a lot. And then
that's great.
And then if we have to make some changes, it's like he's really good at being able to understand my crazy talk as I try to communicate with the English language. Like, can you do this a little more? Burr, 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 burr? So I know that So I don't know. I just feel better about this deck of cards than the last deck of cards.
But
And
buy the old cards. Still buy those ones up so Paul gets his office back.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2 boxes left. There's not much left. So yeah, go buy the old deck. That's cool.
The old deck is also cool, yes.
Yeah, they are great. For the old deck, boy, it just seems like people got so angry about the people. So the old deck has people, like, and they were angry that why isn't my favorite person there? Or for a while there was this thing about why aren't there more women? And it's like, who do you suggest? And then they couldn't come up with anybody. And it's like, there you go. And it's like, so they would just be angry. And it's like, oh, that was sad. And then, why don't you add this plant? And why don't you add that plant? So I don't know. I just kind of feel like this deck is better, like a lot better. I feel better about it. Anyway, I don't know. Do you guys, I mean, you're looking at like, there's the back of the card has got a richer color set. You've looked at the front of several cards now. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts about this deck versus the original? You've all seen the original deck.
Yeah, this looks gorgeous. From what I've seen, it looked. My one complaint about the old deck, even though everyone should still buy it, is the font is a little hard to read, and I've heard that these ones will be even easier to read, which will be good. So yeah, they look beautiful. Great stocking stuffer.
Andreas assures me that this font is larger and easier to read all around. and I haven't gone to try to do a character count or anything like that to prove him wrong. Which would be one way to do it, because we keep looking at it in super jumbo mode in order to figure out the images and the text and all that stuff. All right, I'm going to go and take a look at our Kickstarter. We ought to be doing this. And so, no new activity for the last 15 minutes. And so here I am making whiny sounds. Please support our Kickstarter. Please, sir, may I have some more? So, all right. Should we go back to that card we were looking at there? Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah, there it is. Rocket water heater. Are there any bits on this that we haven't talked about already? Andreas?
Maybe we want to explain the concept of the boom squish.
I mean, I have seen so many wood-fired water heaters on the YouTubes, and it's kind of like, oh, geez, they look scary to me, and yet they've got like 1 million views, and I kind of wonder about like how did it do over the years, but there's a lot of different ways that, especially with a pressurized system. But if you've got like a coil around, that can be problematic. But if you've got a pressurized system, that can be problematic. And if it's going to explode, hot water, steam is a very big explosion. It was the most powerful explosion ever on Mythbusters when they were trying to show a hot water heater where they'd shorted it out, and they put it into they made a conventional house that was like 3 feet by 3 feet, and its only function in the world was to hold this hot water heater that they had messed with, and then they got behind safety glass, and then they exploded it, and they said it was the biggest explosion that they've ever had on their show, and they've had a lot of doozies. So the thing is when you mess with heating water, it can be exploding, and that was with electric heat for the Mythbusters program. But in this case, wood heat, you can oftentimes overheat pretty easily. But if it's an unpressurized system, it's like boiling water on your stove. It's open. It's not going to get explodey at all. It cannot build up the pressure to explode. So anyway, so boom squish is the idea of there's an explosion, the boom, and the squish is when you, your family, and maybe some of your neighbors all squish. And it's like, therefore, I want people to be super cautious, and I just kind of feel like I'm wary of trying to talk to people about boom squish. I think in the 8-movie set for Rocket Mass Heaters, I think movie number 3 is all about heating water, and I believe 1/3 of the movie is dedicated to like how dangerous this is. Anything with a rocket mass heater is very, very safe. It's extremely safe. It's hard for it to be anything other than safe. But once you start trying to heat water, that can be very dangerous. And I want to say experts only, and even for experts, it can be dangerous unless you do an unpressurized system. So there's new comments. I'm reading the chatty chat.
Good.
Oh, good. She who must be obeyed. This is his wife. was just looking at the original deck for the first time, and she was pretty excited. She likes them and is looking forward to the new ones. Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
think
good.
I think that the people who pirated the first deck, when they first contacted me, their whole livelihood is nothing but printing cards, and
Uh-huh.
they contacted me and said, "These are the most beautiful cards we've ever processed. Can we put advertising in it?" And I said, "No." So I guess they wanted to do it anyway, and so then they pirated it, which I think is beyond rude. So
Paul, I've got to head out here in a minute or two, just
Okay.
to let everyone know.
Well, thanks for helping us out today, Mike, for as much as you could. It looks like Julia has already headed out.
Drive safe.
Samantha showed up to fill in for you, Mike.
I guess, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. You got this.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks,
Are there
Mike.
any other? Okay, looks like we've moved on to the next card, the solar food dehydrator with rocket assist. So we already have a solar food dehydrator here, and I think that card is part of the first deck. But I can tell you that everybody here doesn't even want to touch the old solar food dehydrator. They just want to do everything in the new one with the rocket assist. And it's kind of like, yeah, the solar is going to do its thing and all, but let's give it a rocket bump anyway. And so I don't know, the temptation to build a fire in like 2 minutes and then walk away is huge. So this thing has turned out to be the champion here. Andreas, do you want to read the little blurbs? Because I can't quite make it out.
Yes. The angle of the glass is optimized for spring and fall, not summer.
So the first solar food dehydrator that we have, which is still a lovely and delightful solar food dehydrator, it has I'm going to say, gentler slope. I don't think it's optimized for the like the summariest part of summer. Instead, it's probably optimized, I'm going to guess, for like August, September. Whereas this one is more for October, November. So it's
This one is closer to vertical, right?
Yeah, this one is steeper, closer to vertical.
Yeah.
And part of it is that we're kind of finding that when we're using it the most, which, by the way, we're in Montana and we have a plum tree that still has plums. I mean, we've been pulling plums off this plum tree for 2 months now.
Oh my
and
God.
It still has like 50 plums on it that we haven't touched yet. We're kind of like,
in December?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's like we're saving the plum pits and we're gonna plant them everywhere.
Yeah.
But because not only are they a delicious plum, especially once dried, in the solar food dehydrator, but we're still doing it. We're still running the solar food dehydrator. But the key is that when fall rolls around and you're harvesting everything, a lot of cloudy days, and the days are shorter, because when you're past September, your days are shorter than 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then, of course, night. And so the rocket assist it's like, okay, yeah, it uses a lot of solar. The whole system, like when you arrive, it's already working because of the solar factor. And this one's also got rocks on the inside. The old solar food dehydrator doesn't have a bunch of rocks inside.
Oh, okay. So it's got some mass.
Yes. And it will keep operating through the night.
Wow.
However, everybody's kind of just gotten into autopilot to just start the
Fire it up.
fire, you know? And so, and it's like, man, and then it's, how many of you have ever done dehydrating of food with one of those electric jobbies that you sit on your counter? Has anybody done that? Samantha's got her hand up.
Yep.
Okay, and then Andreas has done it.
I've used my oven.
Okay. Let me ask you, Samantha and Andreas, who've done it with the little electric dehydrators. Have you noticed your electric bill goes up a bit?
Yes.
No.
Look at Andreas. Look at him like grin like a fool. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Samantha, you haven't noticed?
I haven't really.
Really? Okay. I've heard people talk about how when they use theirs, their electric bill goes up hundreds of dollars per month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had one person say that theirs went up $900 in a month using their electric food dehydrator, and my guess is that they must have been running more than one. But but wow, that can be expensive.
Oh, yeah. I must have a big one.
Um,
Mine is just a little fan and a little coil. It doesn't take a lot of electricity, but it also doesn't dry very much food. That thing, those ones that you have at your place, you could dry so much food all at once.
yeah,
Amazing.
They're big. Yeah.
and with just a few sticks,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, and you don't need it to be hot. You just need it to be warm enough for the air to move a lot. And so that's all we did. All right, so the faster you dry food, the higher the quality of the dried food. And so if it's a cloudy day and you're trying to dry food in the old solar food dehydrator, it could mold in 3 or 4 days. And it's like, so I know Samantha, was it this spring or summer,
It
Samantha?
was this summer, yeah, and we just didn't get the stuff dried quick enough. And yeah, mold will happen in 3 days.
And it was
So-
like cloudy days, a
Yeah.
bunch of cloudy days hit, and people just put them in and they walked away. And then it's like, oh, we wasted food.
Yeah.
Whereas the stuff in the solar food dehydrator with rocket assist, I don't know. There's the novelty of like build a fire in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's
And-
really fun to use it too, because you open that cabinet and it's just warm in there.
Yes.
So neat.
Right.
So I think
And so the rocket doesn't cook the food because the rocket is not directly aimed at the food, right?
No, it's in a different cabinet. There's 2 rooms. So
Yeah.
you open up the fire room and then you put the fire, but the food itself is just a nice, delightfully warm room.
Just
Yeah.
a toasty room.
Yeah,
for
and there's no
food.
smoke. You're not smoking your food. It's just running
Right.
the heat
It's not a
through your
smoker.
food. So
Ooh,
smart.
do you have
It's
a rocket
really cool.
smoker? What about a rocket smoker?
yeah, no, this has got all the smoke goes out the little chimney in the top.
Yeah.
And there is no
Right.
smoke. I mean the
Well,
exhaust.
you know what? I don't want smoked apple slices. That doesn't seem great.
Right. We're not going to mess with that. So
But I just harvested a hog though, so I'm thinking smoked.
right. You want to be thinking of cold smoke if you
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
Right. I want to, but that's the thing. Could I have a rocket cold smoke that's similar? But
No, you
somehow-
wouldn't. Why would
You
you?
have
No,
a
it's not
hard
gonna
time with a
work.
rocket cold smoke because
Yeah,
rockets doesn't make smoke.
Rocket is not. Yeah, rockets don't.
The
make smoke.
rocketing is what burns the smoke away. But it'd be
Plus,
fun to make a.
The rocket stuff is going to go fast, and you kind of want your
want it slow.
smoke to be like 24 hours a day.
Right.
And so it's a whole different game.
Yeah. So your dehydrator heats up the rocks. Is that?
That's
like
true.
The 2
Yes.
minute, the 2 minute fire heats up the mass, which is rocks, and then the cabinet stays toasty warm for 24 hours,
Easy.
or maybe
Yeah.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
or more. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So, Andreas, what does it say? What's the first one say? The angle of the glass is optimized for, okay, spring and fall.
Spring or
So we
fall.
talked
Yeah.
about that one. I mentioned the second one. On a sunny day, the mass is heated enough that the air will continue to flow all night. Yes. And then the next one is the mass is heated by the sun and or burning wood.
Right.
True. And October harvests with short, wet days and long, cold nights will benefit from the wood burning boost. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
I imagine the angle of the sun is going to be good for the spring as well, but there's not a lot we're doing in the spring. We have put a lot of rhubarb through it in the spring. You could do stinging nettle, but stinging nettle does fine without any fancy dehydration stuff. Like
Just in your house.
drying stinging nettle is so easy. You don't need anything fancy to do that. I don't know what else we might do in the spring. All right, now I'm going to go look at the Kickstarter to see how we're doing. And it looks like we've had 0 activity for 30 minutes.
Well.
Yeah, so permies.com/KS. So let's see. A lot of our harvest comes late in the summer into fall, so a rocket-powered dehydrator to get through the nights better would probably work better for us. Yes, yeah. It's been a dream for us. It's been wow. And of course we wouldn't have even tried to build this if not for having built the first giant solar food dehydrator. And
Right.
while the giant solar food dehydrator works very well, if there are cloudy days, it does not. Okay, but you do want to smoke peppers for barbecue sauce and smoked paprika. Yeah, okay, all right, yes. Dean here, I have a 10-tray stainless dehydrator and have not noticed any rise in the electric bill. All right. Are they
There you
little
go.
trays or big trays? But
I think it depends on your rates too, your electrical rates, whether you notice the change.
that's true too. That's true too. I think here in Montana, we're now at 12 cents per kilowatt hour, but I think that it's like $50 a month plus the 12 cents per kilowatt. And I have heard that there are places in the United States where it's now more than 50 cents per kilowatt hour. And so, yeah. All right, next card, please. Please support our Kickstarter. I'm refreshing it again, and of course, there's still no change. It's been 2 whole minutes, and there hasn't been any change. See how the guy's wearing overalls? Andreas did that.
Thanks, Andreas.
They look sharp, and they're also barefoot.
Yay.
I don't know who that's.
So you know it's a confident artist when they're drawing feet. Feet are
All right,
hard.
the haybox
Hands are
cooker.
hard.
So, Samantha, you were a cook here for a couple of our events. Did you ever use the haybox cooker?
I love using the haybox cooker. It's so cool. You just get your pot of whatever hot on the stove, and then you carry it outside and put it in the cooker, and you can just forget about it. It'll sit out there and finish cooking, and after many hours, you just open it up. It's still super hot in there. It was really nice. I kind of wished you had more of them. I know you have a huge one down in your classroom, but I would have cooked a ton of stuff in there just because it's so handy. And you don't have to watch it. When you're cooking for a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff on the stove and there's a lot of paying attention. And then the haybox cooker, you don't have to watch it. You just go back to it when you're ready. Go get your beans or your whatever out of there. It was great.
So you could put soaked beans, and then when the water is boiling, you stick it into the haybox cooker.
Yeah, you just bring it up to a boil, and stick it in there with a lid.
So this,
Cover the whole thing up with a. There's a little. The box is lined with like this kind of blanket. You know, it could be hay, but at Paul's place, it's very clean and nice, and it's a blanket. And then there's this other bit of blanket that goes over top of your pot, and then you close the wooden box, totally insulated, and
then it
just
slowly cooks.
Yeah, it just keeps
from
it
the
at
residual
very close.
heat.
But it won't
Yeah.
burn, right? Because you're not adding.
But it
heat.
won't burn. So I could see that this is a great thing to use in conjunction with the Lorena, because
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lorena gets things up to boiling really hot, but then at that point you might have an issue where you're overboiling it. So you would want to build your Lorena and then have 5 pots
Yeah.
and 4 hay box cookers, and then you get it to boiling, stick it in the hay box cooker, and then do your next one. And you do like the beans first, and then the rice, et cetera, et cetera. And then all that would be going while you're doing like veggies or other things.
Yeah, other things that you kind of want to monitor, but things that you can't overcook, like rice and beans or a stew, anything that you would like to have on the stove and being hot for a long time, it's an excellent one.
Yeah.
I love your idea of having a few of them. You could have a whole cabinet of these and cook lots of things all at once.
Right, and you've got the Lorena is the heat source.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just boom, 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 bringing the pots up to a boil. And then obviously your pots need to have good handles, and you need to have some welding gloves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they do have to have a properly fitting lid, because that's part of what you're, sealed container. But yeah, I mean, it's just any pot that you would use.
Right.
Okay, we're going to cover this card. I'm going to read the poetry here in just a moment.
All right.
But in looking at the Kickstarter, there's been no new activity for 35 minutes. And I know that we said that we weren't going to be doing this based upon activity, but I just kind of thought there'd be at least a little bit of activity.
Well, there was a little bit of activity.
Plus, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm kind of thinking like, let's see, apparently we've been at this for more than an hour.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of thinking like, so I'm tempted to say, maybe this is the last card, mostly because I'm hungry. Which, by the way, we've just yesterday we harvested sunchokes and walking onions. We would harvest kale, but we in our paddock, we think it's a local goat from the neighbors got loose.
Oh my God.
And somehow got through our fence and ate all of our kale, all of it.
Oh no! Oh my goodness!
It's all gone. And so, but we're not sure it's the goat. So we've been calling it deer, goat, pig. So we shored up our fence to keep out deer, goat, pig. But I mean, this is a big part of, and I've got like a lot of other stuff I want to try to grow with the idea of harvesting in the winter. And so somebody recently sent us skirret seed. We're going to try that. That can be harvested all winter. And we've got a couple of other things we're going to try. But all right. Last year we had kale until January. And so, but this year deer, goat, pig got it. But I'm hungry. I want to go eat.
All right.
If we've only made $20 since we started this whole thing, I kind of feel a little bit like, well, this idea isn't working. So
okay, everybody who's watching should tell their friends about this cool thing, because your email isn't working, and so we're going to have to go by word of mouth.
Yeah.
So anybody watching this, you should share to your small circle that there's a cool thing they can get.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'll be nice. Hopefully we'll get our email fixed the next few months. We found a way to fix it. And it's of course, what are you going to do when the bad guys come? The bad guys do what the bad guys do. Oh, there it is. The automatic backyard food pump. So we made a card for it, even though I kind of feel like it still has 5 more years of development to do. I mean, we're far enough along that we're already seeing massive benefits to it. And of course, I'm advocating everybody to plant these things. I kind of feel like maybe we need to do one of these live thingamabobs just to talk about sunchokes, because there's so much misinformation about sunchokes out there. And and this is the one-eyed jack, one of the 2 one-eyed jacks.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but like when you're playing poker, sometimes people say one-eyed jacks are wild, or whatever they want to say about one-eyed jacks. And there's 2 one-eyed jacks for the traditional card set. So we made 2 one-eyed jacks that I think are super fun.
Okay.
This one, this is the eye is on the J, and so because I think the other one, the eye is on the heart, but I believe this one looks like a pirate. Jack, one-eyed Jack. It's a one-eyed Jack. Yeah. So I'm not going to mention any more than that, because we'll probably get the whole video blocked or something. But I think it's a fun card. The automatic back. Is this our next card, Andres, or you just slapped it up there? Oh, hay box cooker.
Yeah, I wanted to show it while you talked about that.
Okay. All right. So I'm thinking that when we wrap up the Haybox Cooker card, if we haven't had any more money come in, I think we should make it good. Call it
Time
the
for
end,
breakfast.
and then I'll go eat something.
I'm gonna go cut up a hog.
Oh, good luck with that.
Oh,
All right, Haybox Cooker.
Yeah.
Looks like there's 4 bits of poetry. A big pot of food is heated up to boiling, and
And
then
Lorena.
set for 6 to 12 hours in an insulated box. When the pot comes out, it's still very hot. It's been cooking the whole time with 0 energy. So our Haybox cooker is loaded up with wool. We have a whole bunch of wool blankets and raw wool and wool this and wool that. It's very woolly. And then you get pot placed in amongst all the wool, and then you've got some wool blankets to put on top of the pot, and then you close the box and you walk away. I think it's also foil lined, but I can't remember. Some Haybox cookers are foil lined. The box is filled with some kind of insulation, straw, raw wool, or blankets is the most common. I would say it's called a Haybox cooker, but I would suggest to never use hay. Like I would use,
Right. Hay is green.
yeah.
You don't want to use green stuff.
But for some reason, it's called a Haybox cooker. It's a well-recognized name. And so, but I would say wool is going to be way better than straw, but straw is fine. I've heard of people just using towels, like old towels. And it's like not as good as wool, but it'll work. It'll do. Great for soups, stews, beans, and grains. Saves time, no stirring, or constant attention needed. Yeah, it's like, in fact, we were talking about this the other day. Is like when you're cooking on a wood cooktop, like a rocket cooktop. The beautiful thing is you never get half hour away and then say, "Oh, did I leave the oven on? Oh, did I leave the stove on?" So you never had that sensation with the Haybox cooker either. Like, oh, did I leave the Haybox cooker on?
Well, you did, and then when you get home, your soup will be warm and ready for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would imagine that. So if you put it in, if it's boiling when you put it in, I would say you pull it out. It's probably 150, 160, something like that. It's still very, very hot.
Nice and hot, but it's not going to overcook things. It's really neat that way.
True.
And really, if you had a hay box cooker and just a J-tube rocket, you could have a really simple cooking setup and cook all of your food. Right? Like you don't need to have fancy anything. Just a J-tube would get you up to boiling. Throw it in the hay box cooker. I mean, you wouldn't need an oven. You wouldn't need anything fancy, and you could easily cook all your food just on your sticks.
Yeah, and it's truly off grid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and pretty portable. I mean, you've got those J-tubes that are portable. There's no reason why your hay box cooker couldn't be portable. You could set up yourself a little super easy quickie kitchen wherever you are.
Yeah.
Summer
So,
or winter.
There's the comment here: a couple of hay box cookers in combination with a Lorena could feed a small army. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
It really simplifies cooking for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it makes your ability to scale your cooking operation, because you could just get a couple more hay boxes, get some more pots and pans.
Yeah, and zero electricity, zero gas, zero propane, kind of a thing.
It makes you completely self-sufficient. I mean, there's some skill involved in building a wooden box, but you can learn it, and if you do a bad job, just make another one. And then you have two.
That's
and
true.
then you have two.
Yeah, the good one and the lame one.
The next one. Every time you do a thing, you'll get better at it.
So I'm trying to refresh the Kickstarter to kind of see if we've had any activity or if we're all done. And Kickstarter isn't loading for me. I don't know if it's loading for you guys. Oh, there's the GERT
Are we
card.
going to do the GERT card? I think GERT is such a dream. Just
Maybe we should do the GERT one.
We've got to talk about GERT.
So, I mean, I kind of feel like so much of everything we do anymore is about GERT, and I don't know. Somebody on the internet was being snotty a few years ago, saying something like, "Did Paul Wheaton ever make a farm?"
Yeah.
And what a lazy fuck. And like, I don't want to make a farm. I want permaculture gardens. I kind of feel like permaculture farm is an oxymoron. And so I really like the idea of GERT. And so I wrote this story like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, Ferd and GERT. And so there's Ferd. You got to have Ferd in order to be able to talk about GERT. So you can see Ferd there in his suit. And it's got a little blue arrow pointing to Ferd. Ferd lives the average American life of working 40 plus hours per week and 5 hours per week commuting. Ferd buys all of his food. Ferd will retire after working 40 years. And then up above, we've got GERT, the story of a woman living the permaculture dream, retired at 22. GERT has a humble home and a large permaculture garden, heavy on perennials and self-seeding annuals. So the garden takes very little time. Okay, and then going down, I can't quite read the one. GERT spends less time on her garden than Ferd spends on commuting. Andreas, can you read the bottom one?
Yes. If I gave $1 million to Ferd and $1 million to GERT, Ferd's life would change dramatically, and GERT's life would not change.
Yeah, that's the core of Ferd and GERT.
I would also add Ferd wears shoes.
He does, and a tie.
And GERT looks happier than Ferd.
That's true.
No. And I bet she spends less time staring at her phone. Or her
also
screen.
True. Maybe she doesn't have one, but maybe I imagine that GERT has a phone. And it has all the whiz-bangeries. But
It's such a
one of the
relief.
things I said is that Gert's got a really good truck, but only fires it up about once every 3 months. She can drive and do things as much as she wants, but she just doesn't wanna. So, okay, now I'm going to go and go to the Kickstarter, hit refresh one more time.
And go have breakfast.
Yeah, I'm going to go have breakfast. Okay.
All right.
Anybody here got any last minute things they want to say? Please go support my Kickstarter, permies.com.
Please tell your friends.
JS.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell your friends would be great. I mean, I think 85% of our people are not getting our emails right now. So I don't know, the Kickstarter would be doing like 5 times better, I suppose, if they did. And so we'd be doing great. But yeah, this sucks. And all we can do is make the best of it. And well, I hope people go and put a little money in there, and then if not, well, I do promise we're going to sell the cards for more. Like the best deal is for the Kickstarter people. So come and support our Kickstarter. And I think right now we've got an extra sweet thing going on where I thought if we said, hey, anybody who raises their backer level by $20, or if they're new, anybody that adds $20 or more to our Kickstarter between now and $30,000, we'll give you this whole bunch of stuff. I thought that would get us to the next level pretty fast, but that seems to have not happened. So that offer is still on the table if anybody wants to harvest that coin.
Should we say what those stuffs are? I have them right here.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, you made such a bundle. Let me get all the way to the top of it. If you raise your backer level, the rich turbo pump. So you get a 1 month stay at Allerton Abbey, which is the most beautiful cabin. So sweet. It's surrounded by a huge garden. It has the greenhouse next to it, the truly passive greenhouse. You also get, of course, 12 sets of cards or skip books or Better World books or any mix of those. You get the full 18 hours of movies from the Low Tech Laboratory 2, the full event, which is where they go through and teach you all these different skills that you need to do homesteading, the mushroom insulation and the solar powered sawmill, and then we have the rocket forge, and when Mike built the giant stairs, the outdoor sauna, the shower, all the things. I'm in there talking about how to make your own clothes out of wool. Okay, then we have soil microscopy, which is an awesome work with Alan Booker, and looking at your soil. Like it's one thing to look at your soil with your own eyeballs, but when you get out a microscope, it's a pretty fun world in there. So that's a cool video. We have building a willow dome. It's a webinar with Michael Judd, and that's a really great technology. You can plant plants and have them grow into structures, and they're beautiful. They're really strong. They don't rot because they're still alive, and that's a really fun art form. We also have how to make your compost tea, right? I mean, people buy fertilizer, but there's no reason to. It's so easy to make all your own fertilizers, produce plenty of nutrients for all your plants. And this is a great video. And I'm not sure it's an actual video. It says it's a recording. It's a live presentation and ebook. So yeah, that's going to be full of information. You get a deck or maybe 2. How many decks? Oh, if you get the ebook for the old deck of permaculture playing cards, the permaculture deck. We're doing the gardening deck right now, but this is the original deck, and it's an ebook. So everything is bigger. You get to actually open it up and see everything, and the art is beautiful. So a lot of people wanted to see it bigger, so we made an ebook. You also get low-tech laboratory 3D plans for the rocket engine. The rocket engine is a rocket heater that you can plug other things into, like plug in a kiln or plug in a water heater, plug in all kinds of stuff. It's a kind of a base model that you can add whatever you want to. We have the movie, the webinar recording for the truly passive greenhouse. And this is an awesome build of how to have a greenhouse where your plants don't freeze and it doesn't require electricity, even in cold winters of Montana. It's kind of like building a wafadi for your plants, except that it has this huge cold trap down at the bottom and it moves the air through. So even in summer, the plants don't get too hot, and in winter, they stay alive. So that's really fun. We're growing plants all year round at Wheaton Lab with one of those.
On the point of the truly passive greenhouse, Stephen went and measured the thermal wells recently. And it sounds like we may have gotten past, like the thermal wells started off at 46.2. And then I think that they went up to 48 the first year. And then we saw eventually it got to 49, but I think he said that it's already past 50.
Wow.
Which is the warmest it's ever been at the bottom of the thermal wells. But I'm kind of thinking like we're gaining a lot every year. Yeah. So it's possible that in a few more years, it'll be like 52, 53. And so we're basically warming that space underneath the greenhouse annually. It's a little warmer every year.
Is this
so it's working? What's that?
Is this proof of annualized thermal inertia?
I believe it is, yeah. I mean, of a sort, of a type.
Yeah.
But we got to 25 below in the greenhouse and nothing froze.
Neat.
So It's working.
Yeah, that is so cool.
And there's no electricity, there's no fans, there's no solar panels, nothing. So there's other greenhouses they say are passive, but they have electricity and or solar panels, but they always have a fan. And it's like, oh, it's our passive greenhouse. And there's a giant fan. And it's like, I don't think you know what passive means. So ours is working. And so to see how we made it is that movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And we have a passive greenhouse card.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we do. Yeah.
It's a mighty fine living.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is on that list?
What else on the list? You have the low-tech laboratory 3D plans for the log beehives. This is a really cool build. You take a log and you hollow it out and build little racks for the bees to make their honeycomb on, and it's pretty neat. So I like that.
Is that the end of the list?
No, we have so much more. There's the low-tech laboratory extended interviews. So when we did the low-tech laboratory movie, of course, there's a whole bunch of content that doesn't fit, and people teaching really, really fun skills. And so the extended interviews are all of that extra content, some of that extra content. You have a Myco installation webinar recording with Bo talking about how to grow your own insulation while you're farming edible mushrooms. So he has this system where he grows insulation panels out of mycelium on straw, and while it's happening, food mushrooms are pouring out of them. So you get to just chop those off and stir fry up mushrooms while you're growing your insulation panels. And then once the panels are complete, they dry and harden, and they feel kind of like plastic, but they're made of mycelium, and they don't burn, they don't absorb water, they're better R value than store-bought insulation, totally non-toxic. So that's a really, really fun technology, and I'm glad that that's in there, because I think that's a solution for pretty much any insulation situation, is doing that, and it grows food, and it's non-toxic.
I want to jump in real quick before you finish the list. And there's a thing I just thought of, and that is that I think it's good to say into this recording that we're doing something a little different with this Kickstarter, because we wanted to get the cards and do a Kickstarter for the cards, but at the same time, it's like to do it this time of year. How do you get that to work? And we had these weird things where like nobody does a Kickstarter in December because nobody backs Kickstarters in December. So it's going to be dead and you'll get about nothing, which our numbers are kind of proving that to be very true. Like for the last several weeks, it's like most of the days we brought in zero, and it's rare to get past $100. It's been very dry, but at the same time, we have to, once the money comes in, we have to pay for the printing and the shipping it to us, and then we have to pay for shipping it out to everybody. And so we need the money to arrive in 2026. Otherwise, because it's going to take us months to do all the printing and shipping and all that, and it's kind of like if we were to do it in like say October and then stop, we wouldn't have enough time to get it all done before the end of the year. And if you're still holding the money at the end of the year, the tax man has strong theories about that.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, this way, it's weird, but the money then arrives in January and we can, then spend it all
So,
in a few months.
so what you're saying the weird thing is that this Kickstarter is going on for 60 days instead of 30.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
it has to
difference.
do
And when does
with
it
tax
end?
stuff. I think it ends December 20th. I think.
Oh, so it does end in 25.
Yeah, but the payout comes 14 days later.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are nearing the end, folks.
And that's when the tax
Running out
man
of
gets
time.
very interested.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So,
All right.
but
Are
all
there
right.
more
What
things
else
on
is
that
on the list,
Samantha?
Samantha?
What else is on the list? The low-tech laboratory 3D plans for the hugelkultur build. And I know this is something that a lot of people ask for because we talk about hugelkultur, but they really want the details of how actually do you build one and what are your options. And so this is a really fun one of all the different things you can put in there, what they do, how to create the best hugelkultur beds. This is a book that Paul wrote. It's called Permaculture Thorns. He wrote it many years ago, and it's still sort of in a draft version because there's a lot more that could be added, I guess. I don't know why it's still a draft. But it's a book full of information about community and how to build a community and what the various troubles are that come up. So when you're building your own community or wanting to join a community, these are things to look out for and things to be aware of, and then ways to work within that so that you don't fall into these problems. So Permaculture Thorns is a pretty important book for folks who are interested in living in community or building a community of their own. This is a fun video. It is World Domination Gardening. It's a 3 DVD movie set. It's
But
the
you gotta be
HD.
clear, it's the movies, not the DVDs.
Right, it is the movies. It's a streaming version of the movie. So you will have to be online in order to watch it. Some people live off grid and they need to actually buy the DVD. But in this case, it's a streaming version of these 3 movies. One of them is building some ponds using excavators, looking at the landscape, finding where the water will flow naturally and then catching it up. They also build some swales and just ways of catching and harvesting water on the landscape. There's a video, one of them is about building hugelkultur. And I don't remember what the last one's about.
So there's ponds, I believe terraces, and hugelkultur.
Okay. And hugelkultur. And this is the movie where you build the sun scoop.
Yes.
Such an important technology because you're building this huge berm, which is a hugelkultur bed, and you build it in such a way that it blocks the cold wind from coming down the hill. It also blocks the first early morning sun so that when the sun hits a plant, it's not covered in frost anymore. I've already come up above freezing level. And So it scoops the sun, but it also allows cold air to flow out away from this area. So you use a berm and the slope of the hillside to create a microclimate where you can grow plants, sometimes many zones above the zone you actually live in. You can add a pond to this, you can add rock walls, but this is a way to create a microclimate. Like you were talking about that plum tree that you have. Part of the reason that plum tree is still fruiting in December is because it's living in the lee of a berm. It's in a protected space. So you can do a lot of things and change and basically grow in different zones by using these techniques.
So I think that this list is like $200 worth of stuff for $20. So like if you either raise your backer level by $20 or if you become a backer that's at $20 or more, one of those two things, anything that moves the whole Kickstarter forward $20 or more between now and when we hit 30,000, you get all of this stuff. Is there more on the list?
There's one more thing, which is issue number 10 of Living Woods magazine. And it's a beautiful magazine full of all kinds of fun things, and just a great resource.
All right. Thanks for going through that list, Samantha.
Yeah, I'm amazed that you have so many things on this list, and we only, it's what is it, $20?
I thought we would zip right on up to the next level, and then we'd have to go from there. But it seems like the whole Kickstarter stopped. But we are in December, which is famous for being the Kickstarter kiss of death kind of
doldrums. The Kickstarter doldrums. Also, yeah, I think people aren't noticing the new things, maybe. But maybe with this video, there are people who have already supported the Kickstarter, but they're like, "Oh, that sounds interesting. Let's do another $20 on there."
All right. I think we're done. I'm gonna go eat breakfast.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody. If you like this sort of thing, come on up to the forums at permaculture.com and support our Kickstarters. There's homesteading and there's permaculture all the time.
All the time. Thank you.